Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Coffees with James. I'm James, and this show is my morning coffee show. I know I make a show in the morning. Why would any maniac do this? Because one, I am just want to give my thoughts out, and two, I want to make a show. I want to make art. So, what are we talking about today? Well, something I've always talked about, and something I always addressed in one of these videos, and that is, come on, the bullshit of fucking having no stand or living at home and blah 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 yada 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 yada. No, I want to talk about just our culture in general. Just the I'm listening to almost a cult classic podcast, and today they're talking about Mel Brooks movies. I'm kind of disagreeing with them. I think he's a good comedic director, but then again, I've heard some other things that these guys are discussing that it's kind of making me raise my eyebrows a little bit. So, one of the things that they're discussing is the fact that, well, I want to get into it, but I don't want to get into it or make a debate about this, but I want to talk about one thing they've always mentioned, and that is the Blazing Saddles theory. And not to say they talked about this a lot in some of their podcasts. If you have an idea, don't be afraid to use it. Just be funny. And I think that's the case. Now, what they're referring to, and this is something I gotta say, there's always this thing that people go around and say, Blazing Saddles will never be made today. Oh, Blazing Saddles could never be made today. Why not? Oh, well, in this culture and this climate and, all this stuff, and people can't take a fucking joke. And honestly, you can. I know you can't really repeat Blazing Saddles, but you can make something like Blazing Saddles. Not the exact same thing, not in the same thing, but if you have a movie that is, if you have a good idea, then go for it. And if it's offensive, oh fucking well. Because we're living in this day and age where people get too offended sometimes. You know what I mean? Too offended, oh my dear Lord, this is outrageous and this is offensive. Oh, where are my pearls? And it comes down to this. And honestly, I agree with that. You can't, I was listening to it. Not Joey Ramone. Who is the other one? Ryan Lancelot. He said that, you just need balls, but you need to be funny. You can't be obnoxious about it. You gotta have balls. And I've been obnoxious with my offensive humor. And I'm not going to apologize for it, just to give you a clarification. Yes, I said it, but I was trying to give you shock. You guys like the shock. Everybody does things for the shock value, and it's okay, you got to be funny this time. And that's really the truth. I think people need to... I know, I got to go to the gym. Go to the fucking gym, swole bro. Swole Papa Swole. That's really the case, I have to say. That's really the case I have to talk about. And especially Papa Swole's involved with this too. So it's this fear that we have now. Nothing is being made and everything's kind of safe and secure, or just being kind of altered and everything's an indoctrination or propaganda piece. Look at our modern movies and stuff like that. Most of them are. And nobody's taking risks anymore because they're afraid of A, getting canceled, B, getting attacked by the cancel culture mob, which is bullshit. And yeah, it's been going on forever. It's either it's from the left or from the right. If it's for the left's purpose of progression and we're here to protect the weak minorities, we're the white, we're heroes and we'll fight for injustice, and if they get smacked they cry and call the police that they're trying to defund, and they try to pick a fight with somebody and they end up being crybabies about it. It's the truth. It's the absolute truth. And I will get into the right in just a moment, but the left kind of fucking irritates me because they, they cry about every little thing, and they think every minority out there, and this is from white liberals. I do not like white liberals as much, because white liberals are just the worst, because they think they're doing, they think they're Ralph. You know, I'm helping. You're not helping. They go around pretending they're superheroes, thinking that they're going to stop injustice and systematic racism and institutional racism, whatever the fuck that weird thing is. It's like, which I don't understand or get. You know, and this whole thing about phobias now, transphobia, homophobia, all the phobia, and honestly, it's bullying words. They want to call you these things so you can accept them. And I gotta be honest with you, and this is something I've heard from a gay comedian, the Christians are not going to accept you. They just don't want you going to hell. As much as you put out the gay flag and we're the assless chaps, they don't want you going to hell. And they're trying to save you. Are they being obnoxious about it? Yes. But you can't change their fucking minds. They can't. And I mean, you're not making a good case too either. I mean, for God, like, look, I support abortion. You want to get an abortion, fine. But don't parade it around and make a fucking song and dance about it like Michelle Wolf. God bless abortion. God's gonna fucking smite thee one day. And actually, he kind of did a little bit. I mean, with the George Floyd memorial that got hit by lightning on a clear day, yeah, God exists. I'm a firm believer, and don't give me this bullshit. Well, scientific. Don't give me the science. You know, science that, like, can someone please explain to me when science became a religion? Like, I'll give you an example of the Priyana. It's like that Priyana, you know, dog chow shit. Science did that. Hey, science, magic. It's science. Believe in science. Can you explain the fucking science? Can you? I can't explain the fucking clown's hat that moral being hit, but I can say it's an act of God. That's all I can say, because that's how the insurance companies would say it. But, you know, it's even like that female comedian who talked about getting vaxxed and all that shit, and then she passed out. I believe God exists, and I believe he's just acting upon this and being like, you know, and the same thing with the abortion thing. Fine, you want to get an abortion, that's between you, the doctor, and God himself, okay? That's private. I don't want to hear about how many abortions you had. That's nothing to be proud of, by the way. It's like, hey, I had, 20 prostate exams. It's like, nobody gives a shit. And it's also with, like, this, like, the homophobe. No, I just don't care how many dicks you sucked. How much pussy you ate? How much fucking dicks you shoved up your ass? How many light bulbs you shoved up your ass? I don't care. You know, I think, look, if you're gay, you're gay, fine. You know, I think there's a point where it's like, it's a funny, like, joke that, my dad one time went to a gay bar with one of his friends who is gay, and they were hanging out with one guy who was like flaming homosexual, and one of the other gay guys was like, "Stop it!" or "You don't have to act like that." We're at a gay bar. You don't have to pronounce you're gay. And I think people just get too proud about that. You know what I mean? Like, I have pride in my. It's like, guy, calm down. It's okay to be you, but calm the fuck down, man. And I think that's what's going on nowadays. And it's like, granted, I'm going off topic here, but again, it's also from the Christians, radical Christians as well, because they're trying to protect the children. They're trying to protect, morals in this country. They're trying to, this is unworthy. This is unsavory. It's like, this is offending the moral. God will smite thee. Yeah, I get it. I understand that. But you guys, they've been doing that a lot, and everybody understands this. The religious right goes after, and which is funny too, because they go after everybody goes after everything. When there's a mass shooting, it's either guns, knives, weapons, South Park, books, video games, movies, television shows, Pokemon, Marilyn Manson, Eminem. But they never described, like, okay, what's wrong with our mental. They always blame something and banning it, just get rid of everything and we can stop evil. It's like, no. How about we talk about diet in this fucking country? How about we talk about the fucking institutions of education, where we praise one person for playing a fucking game, a football game, where they throw around a pigskin. Oh, this is giving our school some... Like, no, who gives a shit? I played football, and I gotta say, though, it was fine and dandy, but who gives a fuck? It's a fucking game where you're throwing around a ball. Alright, or the academics. This person's a straight A student. Be thankful in life she doesn't end up like a fucking heroin addict and then jumping off a bridge because you raised her to be an A student. Nothing, anything below an A is absolute dog shit. Again, it's, how about we stop blaming materialistic items and start blaming, our culture, our diet. I mean, our high carbohydrate diet. Why don't we blame that? And I will say this, again, I'm going off topic here. Mel was talking about movies. Why aren't we making movies like that anymore? Like, why aren't we, not really about shocking, but the best thing about comedy, and this is from Weaponized Nerd Rage, it points out something. Instead of this being this is the difference. Environmentalists. Or something on that line of here's an example. You see if a movie about environmentalism, and you have this Bugs Bunny rah-rah speech, you can tell when somebody's being like, recycle, we're propaganda, no, you must listen here. Nobody cares. But if you have a comedian making jokes about different things, and it's like, oh, by the way, the suicide rate for men is very high, where they're making jokes about that. We're talking about how many trans people are getting, committing suicide higher. It's like, I think again, I don't think anybody really gives a shit about recycling. I don't think anybody really gives a shit about any of the leftist, ideologies. Nobody really gives a shit about anything that's not popular or with a team. Most people are moderates, but when they hear this you should do this, they want to be popular. Well, we really haven't left the high school mentality. That's, again, this is why I think high school was just a science experiment gone astray, because we're trying to be popular. We're always trying to be popular and with the cool kids. And it's the truth be told, who gives a shit? Do you really, are you really trans, or are you just trying to fit in with somebody? Are you really gay, or are you just trying to fit in with somebody? And again, if you're this goes with art too. If you're making art and yes, your art offends somebody, good. It should provoke some thoughts. It should disturb, and again, your art should disturb the comfortable, and it should comfort the disturbed. Because those people are definitely who really need, Joker's a great example of that, or Taxi Driver, or The King of Comedy. It will disturb you. It will disturb the comfortable, because they're afraid of seeing that dark side. It will bring comfort to the disturbed, because they can see, okay, this is a person I can relate to. Joker's a great example of that. The modern day version of Taxi Driver or The King of Comedy, that kind of loner cinema. Arthur is not particularly a hero, nor is he a total bastard villain. The man is kind of been tortured to a point where he doesn't care about society anymore, where he's just he doesn't care about saving the world or anything like that. He just wants to watch the world burn. He also, again, there's something I have to say though about that, why I love Joker so much. It's it's because he finally fucking snapped, man. I think that's one of the things I absolutely love about Joker, and just it's one of those movies that definitely we need to start talking about in this day and age. Again, back to comedy or anything like that, we need to be offensive again. We need to just be we need to offend people. That's all we have to do now. We have to offend people. We have to offend these smug, self-righteous, bourgeois, elitist assholes on Twitter. These people, and again, I will talk about the Elon Musk thing, but these people need to be fucking, get a pie in the again, I don't have a pie with me, but they need to be fucking brought down a notch. It's like, you people are worse than the religious right. You won the culture, but now it's like, you guys are doing the same. The rebels have become the empire. That's what happened. Like, and I'm using a Star Wars analogy, but like, that's what Star Wars. That's what the Force Awakens should have been. Like the prequel trilogy. Excuse me. The sequel trilogy should have been how the shift in power never changed. Like, people still got corrupted by ultimate power. Like, that should have been the lesson. Like, the Empire, the Republic became the new Empire, where they were going, demanding these rules and stuff like that. And you could see that in the prequel trilogy. The Jedi Order, if they were just relaxed with the whole Jedis getting married or falling in love, they would have been fine. But they've acted smug and had no real fucking challenge in their way. Like, the Jedi's fell because they were like, oh, we're nothing like the, no bad thoughts. It's like, yes, all your bad thoughts, man. Same thing with this fucking culture now. And again, if there is something offensive, it's just there for the shock value. There's no real satire that, I mean, look at, like, Invincible. Look at The Boys. Which, by the way, I like The Boys, but I'm sorry, but where are the supervillains at? Like, where are, like, the legit guy in a domino mask threatening the world or challenging superheroes? Oh, well, like, shut up. The Boys is fine. I like The Boys, but, like, it's missing a piece. And again, it's like, that's like woke comedy. It's LOL humor. It's in your face. And I'm going off all the three things. And it's also mean-spirited. And I'm tired of mean-spirited comedies. I'm tired of deconstructivism. I'm tired of this in-your-face LOL humor. Oh, well, it's silly. It's like, yeah, but I enjoy it because it always ends in a good day. It always ends in a good day. It's like, I was talking to my friend about this, and we were talking about one of the episodes of Supernatural where they end up in a Scooby-Doo episode, and he goes, why do you like this? Because it does end, yes, it does have the same repeated things, but it's fun. It's fun, and it's escapism, true escapism. Why do you think there's so much, everything's so politicized nowadays? Because they don't want you escaping. They want you to be focused on the politics, so you get distracted and get so angry at your, radical, your religious right neighbor or your progressive left, neighbor or whoever, and they want you to be angry at them, and it's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy relationship we have here. It's like, everything has to have a meaning. My mom was watching a movie called A Matter of Life and Death, and I thought it was just a nice, simple little love story about a man who, survives a plane crash by jumping out into the ocean. Survives, and heaven realizes they made a mistake. Oh, this guy's supposed to die. Shit. And he falls in love with an English lady over radio. And, now heaven's trying to get him in there. Now he's defending for his life and all this stuff. And it's a love story. It's a fucking love story. And my mom was like, oh, there's some political things and that has something to do with, like, nothing, everything, like, that's in the background. That's set dressing. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, nobody should give a shit anymore. Like, the reason I give a shit like this is because I don't want I want things to be fun again. Like, and look at, like, video games. And this is coming from a gamer. Everything's going too woke. And I'm sorry to say it. You go woke, you will get broke. And I'm tired of, like, by the way, Resident Evil remake, I'm not going to play it. I don't have a PlayStation 5, but if I did, I'm still not going to play it because I didn't want a fucking remake to that game. I want my cheese. I want my sexy outfits. I want my fun, my escapism. Please stop making everything super goddamn realistic. It's a fucking video game. Have fun. Just have some fucking fun, man. Jesus Christ. No, it's fucking absurd. It is. It's one of those absurd things that just annoys the shit out of me. We're not having any fun anymore. because again, it's going to offend somebody who is fat acceptant, or but it just has given up on life. You're not fat acceptant. You have just straight up give up on life. I was like that too. I was like that. I just said, fuck it, I'm just going to be fat. That's what I was going to be. Until I made a fucking change. Until I said no more. And slowly I started to make those changes. And by the way, diet is an extreme one. That's the biggest one you should conquer. Before you decide to go exercise and stuff like that, work on your diet. And this is a quick tip, and I will talk about it in another video. Get rid of all of carbohydrates. Start removing foods that you don't really need. Don't do fad diets. Fad diets are just crock of shit. What you really need to do is stop listening to these people. Really do research. Stop trying to find a quick fix. It's going to take fucking time. I say eat meat. Real protein. Real meat protein. That includes beef, lamb, chicken, pork, veal, remnants, just any of the remnants, goat, elk, any of them, and organ meat. So people get grossed out, but it's like eat a liver. Shut the fuck up. Eggs, and eat your dairy. Eat good fats too, like dairy, like cheese, like milk, raw being specifically good. And by the way, fat will not make you fat. Refined sugars will. Carbohydrates will. And by the way, here's another tip for you. Look at that food pyramid. Get rid of the bottom. Just fucking knock that thing out of there. And also the top too. Sugar, by the way. Honey will not. Fruit. Well, that's another thing too. Fruit, sugar, I'm trying to think of the other. Honey and vegetables. Well, those things are carbohydrates. So is milk. Animal carbohydrates and grains are. You shouldn't be eating grains, by the way. That's peasants' food. They're trying to fatten you up so you can't do anything. By the way, you need and also when you do start exercising, find a trainer. And find a trainer for a good week. And actually do your own research. Figure some shit out. If you can't, I'm so intimidated. Don't be intimidated. Change your fucking diet and you will change your mind. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying previously. If you change your gut health, fix that first. Study gut health and study diet. And I'm dead serious about that. If you change your diet, you will change your life. And why do you think a lot of people on the carnivore diet have changed their life? Or vegan. I mean, granted, I'm not here to pick a fight with the vegans and be like, if you're fine, I know some vegans that are doing fine. But if you want to change your life, change your diet, all right? And granted, I'm on carnivore. I've eaten my fair share of fruits and vegetables. Yes. Do I eat fruits and vegetables all the time? No. I eat mostly steak and eggs. And ground beef. I mostly eat beef and eggs. Sometimes I eat too much. Sometimes I eat little eggs. Sometimes I eat a lot of eggs. Eggs are good for you, along with dairy. But again, it's this whole culture of, diet, and we're gonna save the planet. And, we're gonna do. You're doing good by not eating meat. Fuck that. I'm sorry to say that shit, but. Don't ever fall for the bullshit, because you want to be poppy, you want to be cool, you want to be accepted. Fuck being accepted. Be your own man. If they don't like you, tough fucking shit. And the same thing for making art. Who cares if you don't get accepted? I mean, look at what's going on. You can't have sexy outfits anymore, but people getting fucking eviscerated with chainsaws and people getting hit by cars, and violence is okay, but sexuality and sensuality, not so much. And that goes on both sides of the fence, too. I mean, look at this, the new Love and Thunder trailer. That scene was funny. Okay, can we not go the double yeah, it is double standards, but honestly, it's kind of first of all, sexy. It is a sexy little scene. It's funny, and first of all, it's not man bashing, because the funny thing about that trailer, the end of that, it wasn't male humiliation to a degree. It was Because if it was like a feminist, like man-hating thing, they would have laughed at his penis, being like, "How small it is." No, they fainted. If you watch that trailer, most of the ladies faint. There's two guys who faint, and like some of like the guards are just trying to hold themselves up. It's funny. It fucking works. And then you have like Jane and like Valkyrie just checking them out. It's like, hurry on, Thor's fucking awesome. You know, but if it was like, again, I was talking to my friend about this. It's the same thing, like with like a woman wearing a dress standing on a grate, you know, and the wind blows it up. It's the same thing. Sex and comedy go hand in hand. It helps us relax about shit. It helps us kind of just, who gives a fuck kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's so, again, who gives a shit? And who gives a shit about this? Fuck fat acceptance. Don't accept the fact you're fat. Don't say goodbye to that thin. By the way, no, don't ever say you have a thin. There is no thin self. There is no fat self. There is just yourself. You just decided to say, I give up and I'm not gonna try hard. And this is not a disrespect to any of the the thick ladies out there. No disrespect to you. I'm talking to the people who are who are morbidly obese, who are basically to a point where who are just. I've dealt with these people. The reason why you feel like shit is because you're not taking care. You're not eating the proper nutrition. Yes, there are women out there who are thick. There are women out there who are endomorphs. And let me give you the 3 body types: endomorphs, which are just thick boys; ectomorphs, who are skinny people; and mesomorphs, who are just normal-sized people. They exist. That body types exist, and yes, you can build muscle either way. Is it going to be harder for people? Yes, but are there going to be challenges? Of course, there are going to be fucking challenges. But you need to get over this fucking mindset that you can't. You got to say you can. And I'm so tired of this shit. I'm so fucking tired of it. You gotta Oh, almost. I forgot. I'm wearing a robe. So I'm trying to get ready for the day, so I gotta finish up this video. Whoopsie Google. Oh shit. But no, I really do think this is the shit we gotta talk about nowadays. And it's like, you know what? If you want to make a movie, make a movie. Who gives a shit if you offend somebody? Be funny when you do it. And you know what? Go for it. Just go for it. So I'm making sure I'll watch this video. If I flashed you, I apologize. But again, it's this bullshit culture we have, this cancel culture. You really want to cancel me? Come to my house with a shotgun. You know, come try to assassinate me. You know, or it's these trans people who fucking are trying to throw hands at like Dave Chappelle on stage. Why do you think violence is gonna work? You know, and by the way, don't listen to Maxine Waters. She is a fucking evil fucking any of these Democrat assholes. They're fucking evil people. You know, they were promoting violence. By the way, the Summer of Love it was not the Summer of Love. It was the Summer of Violence. Before you say, well, we were fighting injustice. No, you weren't fighting injustice, because most of you were robbing a fucking, Foot Locker to get those Jordans. You were robbing stores to get some free shit. You know, tell me, did blowing up a fucking ATM or robbing a Target or destroying a fucking place solved anything? No. In fact, you increased gun sales in this country after the Summer of Love. Democrats as well started buying guns. So, Joe Biden, you're a fucking moron, and then all the Democrats out there, we're not going to give up, and neither am I. So, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I'll go give my final statements. Hold on. All I want to say is that start making art. Start making art that's not political whatsoever, and start making shit that's just fun. In the words of Andrew WK, we want fun and we want to get wasted. We want to have fun and we want it now. Fuck yeah. And we want fun and you might as well face it. So, take care, love it, bye-bye, and remember, who gives a fuck?